you guys do a lot of one-on-one nutrition coaching. You work with a ton of people. Can you help me understand the psychology that's going into this time of year and what people should be expecting? And more importantly, let's put some strategies together to help them navigate these pitfalls in this treacherous time of year.
Yeah, it's really shocking, or not so shocking anymore, because it's been coming up the last 5 years. People fear like Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's. And my response is it's one day. So as long as you don't drag it out into Saturday, Sunday, Monday, or eat all the Christmas cookies in your office for a month, you will survive a day of indulging. But we just had Thanksgiving, and the amount of emails I had that, wanted to talk strategy on, hey, how do I eat during this time? Or I'm traveling, like you said. So that's something that Rob and I are doing a lot of right now, is coming up with individualized strategies to not be fearful of the holidays.
You just have to really understand what you're walking into and then having some plans to get through it all. And I think one of the big plans is when you do go to anything, concentrate on the protein. Like just hit the protein, grab some vegetables, and then you're going to be a little bit more filled up so that you're not maybe throwing down a whole half a dozen or more of cookies and things like that.
What about like making a bit of a bargain? Like I always felt like, like you said, you hit it on the head, focus on the protein. Protein's extremely satiating. It's hard to overeat on it. But the kind of navigating the pitfall of like drinking versus sweets. So like that's, I kind of say like, hey, like select one. Like if you want to have a bunch of drinks, just don't eat the cakes or the pies, or, stay away from desserts. If you decide and want to abstain from alcohol, then you go on the other side, which is funny because my wife and I always make that. She's like, I'm like, I'd rather have a couple drinks than have dessert. And she's like, I would rather have dessert than a couple drinks. I'm like, perfect. Then you become the designated driver and I'll have a bunch of drinks. So like that's been always a deal where I would rather have one or two drinks, or maybe an eggnog or an old fashioned or something, and eat my dinner, opposed from like sitting there and, sampling all these different pies. So being able to give somebody a suggestion in that, my biggest deal is like, don't do both. Because if you have drinks, you eat some protein, and then you go to dessert, believe me, you're not stopping at one piece of pie. Alcohol reduces the inhibitions, and next thing you know, you're like, oh, I just ate this whole pie. So don't do both. If you're going to go into the realm of sweets and desserts and all that, go in fully armed. Don't go in with reduced inhibitions.
I like Rob's strategy. Eat so much protein that I can't consume dessert.
Have you ever been too full for dessert?
Yes.
No, but I'm going to use Rob's excuse.
Dude, I watched my kids stuff themselves on turkey, and that was like, there's no way these kids are going to be able to dessert. All of a sudden, dessert, they were like, they started literally poking to a side. I found some room right here. There's no fucking way. And, those little bastards ate it.